You earn a healthy income, and your checking account is technically fine. Yet every month, you sit at the kitchen table checking the math, feeling that creeping anxiety of a stagnant net worth. You're putting in the effort, but you aren't getting ahead. The popular solution for this feeling is usually a listicle, the 30 tiny habits of ordinary people who became millionaires. These lists rapidly fire off advice. They tell you to hold on to a used car for 10 years to avoid depreciation, while simultaneously insisting you stop spending $10 on takeout and pack a $4 lunch instead. These lists treat all financial actions as equals. Presenting 30 habits as a flat checklist creates immediate decision fatigue. You are facing a trade-off between willpower and wealth. Human discipline is a finite, highly exhaustible resource. Attempting to integrate 30 new behavioral changes into your routine simultaneously is a guarantee of failure. To fix this, we audit these habits through a willpower return on investment. We map daily willpower on the horizontal axis against financial impact on the vertical axis, identifying which habits drain energy versus those yielding massive returns. Financial progress isn't about perfectly executing everything on a list. It is about ruthlessly prioritizing the habits that generate the highest return on the least amount of daily discipline. The top left quadrant contains the systemic multipliers. These automated systems, capturing your 401k match, maximizing an HSA, and buying index funds, demand zero daily willpower. An HSA yields up to $830,000 tax-free. Paired with average market returns, this background compounding is massive. There is a trade-off. Setting up these automatic deductions immediately reduces your take-home pay, requiring a one-time baseline lifestyle adjustment to absorb the tighter cash flow. Large structural purchases also live in this quadrant. Specifically, buying a 2 to 3-year-old car instead of a new one, and capping your housing costs at 28% of your income rather than the 50% a bank might approve. A $50,000 new car loses roughly $10,000 in value the second you drive it off the lot. Buying slightly used bypasses that loss. Similarly, sticking to a 28% housing limit frees up an average of $584 a month compared to maxing out your mortgage approval. Over a 30-year timeline, those two choices free up hundreds of thousands of dollars without requiring you to make a daily choice to save. Quadrant 1 habits build an invisible wealth machine. They operate in the background, making you richer by default. The top right quadrant houses structural interventions. These actions move the needle on your net worth, but they require significant effort and disruption. The most urgent habit here is treating high-interest debt as an absolute drop-everything emergency. A $10,000 balance on a 22% APR credit card costs $28,000 over 2 decades if you only pay minimums. Paying off that debt provides a guaranteed, risk-free 22% return, a yield no index fund can safely match. This requires severe austerity. You have to freeze other financial goals and cut spending to the bone until the balance hits zero. This map visualization demonstrates geographic arbitrage, relocating to a lower-cost area while maintaining your income. Another habit in this category is renting out a spare room in your primary home. Leaving a California market with an $833,000 median home price for an Iowa market at $228,000 can recapture $2,000 to $3,000 per month in baseline living expenses. But the human friction is immense. You are moving away from family networks, losing personal privacy to a roommate, and upending your entire daily routine. Quadrant 2 habits generate the fastest absolute bursts of wealth creation, but they demand you sacrifice comfort and normalcy to get there. The bottom right quadrant represents the danger zone, the willpower traps. Here, high daily effort yields low financial impact. This is where you find the classic frugal habits, packing daily lunches, batch prepping meals, and manually logging every penny. The math is valid. Replacing a $10 takeout order with a $4 packed lunch consistently does save $2,000 to $4,000 a year. But the hidden cost is the continuous daily cognitive load. You are forcing yourself into a state of constant active micro-sacrifice. This creates willpower depletion. Willpower is a finite resource. When you force it to absorb constant pressure from minor choices, your discipline eventually gives out. Depleting your willpower to save $6 on a sandwich often triggers a behavioral relapse. you are far more likely to authorize a $500 impulse purchase that evening, simply because your discipline is exhausted. Relying on Quadrant 3 makes you feel busy being frugal, but it leaves you vulnerable to burnout long before any real wealth is accumulated. With these 30 habits categorized, we can translate the data into a personalized roadmap. Your starting point depends entirely on your current financial stage. First, the overwhelmed beginner. You make decent money, but the sheer volume of financial advice leaves you paralyzed. Ignore advice about packing lunches. Your singular focus is automation. Capture your 401k match and set bills to autopay to eliminate late fees. Next, the high earner. You generate great income, but fall victim to lifestyle inflation with every raise. Focus strictly on structural anchors. Keep your current car for a decade and refuse to upgrade to a larger house. Lock liabilities in place as income grows. Finally, the optimizer. You already have the basic automations running, and your structural housing choices are locked in. Direct your leftover willpower toward margin-expanding habits, aggressive tax planning, and maximizing the triple tax advantage of your HSA. Not a single person on this list is attempting to execute all 30 habits simultaneously. Pick the one structural change today that requires the lowest amount of willpower for the highest statistical return. Ordinary people do not become millionaires by possessing superhuman discipline. They become millionaires by strategically designing a life where wealth compounding happens by default.